Hello everyone, and welcome to this pre-recorded presentation on Thought Technology's newest product release, the DeStress Solution. We're excited to bring you all today. It's been something in the works for a while, and it's going to be representing a new avenue forth in our products in terms of marriage of small, sleek, useful TPS sensors with a very powerful and intuitive software system. My name is John Bale, and you may have heard me present before, and you're going to hear me again right now if that is the case. So just getting started, what is this DeStress solution? Well, it's really pretty much an excellent tool for practitioners that want to enter the field of psychophysiological evaluations, of stress evaluations, of biofeedback, because it lets us do quite a few things in terms of evaluating markers of stress, teaching stress management, teaching relaxation skills, and enhancing individuals' resilience via self-regulation. It's definitely great for people with clinical problems. It's also great for those who want to do performance enhancement with athletes or just normal people. Before I get going a little bit further, we have to see what brought us here to this point. About 3 years ago, Thought Technology released a TPS sensor called the triple physiology sensor. And this was a very small, cute, and I'm actually going to even say sexy, little finger sensor that the person applies, and it sends data in real time to a tablet or smartphone. The original application it used was called eViewSens, and many people know the TPS sensor via that application. This was Thought Technology's first release into simple Bluetooth wireless sensors that allow for a very convenient, easy, and mobile experience when it comes to self-regulation practice and engagement. People loved the sensor. We had a lot of great feedback from it, and people really wanted to take this sensor to the next step. Many people got to know Thought Technology via the TPS sensor without being aware of any of our other product listings. Now, that being said, at the same time, Thought Technology has been in this field for at least 40 years, and so we are quite well known for a much more powerful software package known as the BioGraph Infinity. Used on a normal computer, it lets you do quite complicated and sophisticated psychophysiological evaluations, generating reports, generating trends, lets you record quite a variety of different types of information, from just simple heart variability, skin conduction temperature, to more elaborate muscle rehabilitation, brainwaves, neurofeedback, as well as definitely a lot of other modalities. BioGraph Infinity is what actually we tend to be well known for, and a lot of our practitioners who own our products tend to be using this software already. Now, it being quite advanced software, wasn't actually for use with a simple little TPS sensor, and is only for use with a big computer because it needs that processing power. Now, where I'm going with this is that we have finally decided to actually marry these two products together. And so you get both the sleek, beautiful hardware that's mobile, small, simple to use, and you can get combined with the powerful software system that we've been using for quite a while. And so essentially the TPS sensor being combined with the BioGraph Infinity program has created the DeStress Solution, the newest offerings we have for the market and that we're very excited to present to you. Really, it's essentially you get a small, simple sensor that records a lot of information and then a powerful software package that does analysis of that data in a variety of ways. And I'm going to be going over that today with you all. Let's talk about some of the big features of the DeStress solution, and then we'll get to looking at more specific things. Then I'll actually show the software in action. So what are some of the big features of the DeStress solution? Well, it's definitely going to give us access to 4 measurements of the autonomic nervous system. For those of you who already own a TPS sensor, you know you can access some of this data already. So you get access to arousal or skin conductance, different names for the same thing. You also get access to finger temperature, as well as heart rate variability. These are 3 very good measurements of the autonomic nervous system, as it's what people really want to look at when it comes to looking at stress markers, self-regulation, relaxation, as well as optimal performance. And HRV, as many of you know, is a huge thing in the field. It's wildly expanding. It has so many amazing applications on a variety of different clinical disorders, as well as just treatment populations. Now, a 4th measurement we're actually also getting access to in the DeStress solution is breathing. If you already know the finger sensor, it does access the first 3, but we've managed to generate a new way where we estimate breathing, and it's going to be really cool. We'll see that in a little bit. Another big feature of the DeStress solution is that we offer a stress test that's fully automated in the software. It lasts 10 minutes, and it actually generates a report that's self-interpreting. So you get to see the results in terms of numbers, and you get suggestions both aimed at the clinician as well as at the client. We'll have a little bit of a look at that later, but people are really excited about this feature because it's especially useful for understanding what just occurred and having the client immediately get a copy of something that lets them know in very simple language with simple images what happened and how well they did. A big thing with this package is that it gives us a variety of self-regulation feedback games and game-like sessions. And so we want to encourage people to increase or decrease various metrics when it comes to arousal, temperature, heart rate variability, and breathing. And we provide a variety of those types of sessions for you to do that with your client. So if you want to teach someone to de-stress by bringing down arousal, we have a few different feedback displays. You get to choose which is best. Some of it might just be using sound feedback. Some of it is both a mix of sounds and visuals. We can stream videos from YouTube. You can use movies from your computer. We've implemented also some game-like sessions where it becomes more fun, and clients realize that as they get the signal to go further up or further down, they get increased feedback or more things happen. It's really, really exciting, and it's quite a range of possibilities in this DeStress Solution package. Of course, the software, since it's running on a computer, it can be used with 1 or 2 monitor compatibilities. So that's to say, if you just have a laptop, you see all the data on that laptop screen. If you plug in a second monitor, you can also be showing some simplified data on the second monitor. So for example, if you want to do self-regulation with a client, well, they get to see the second monitor, that you have the video playing for them, and on the main monitor, you get to hide all that physiological data so they don't get confused or overwhelmed by it, but you still get to see all that useful information. As the last big feature, because this is part of a powerful software platform, you can change every aspect of the visuals and statistical displays. So if you want to change your own self-regulation training screens, you can make that. You can add in new animations, new pictures, new movies, new sounds. If you want to change the statistics because you're a researcher and you want to take advantage of this simple little TPS finger sensor and get all the data for research projects, you can do that as well. You can make fixed protocols that are perfectly repeatable. You can make fancy Excel reports that are automatically take the data out of the system. There's all the possibilities you could possibly want with this package. So now I'm going to talk about the specific session content you get access to, and then we'll have a look at the software and go into details about all those things. So what's included in the DeStress solution? Well, evidently, like I said before, we're giving you a stress test. It's 5 activities. It goes from a relaxed baseline where we get a general idea of where the client's at before any sort of other work begins, and then they experience a stressful activity, recover, another stressful activity, and recover. We essentially want to see how they respond to stress and if their body is able to shake it off or not, or if it's something they hold in. From that stress test, we have the self-interpreting report. And you'll notice right here in the pictures that there's 2 little report pages. The first one is meant for the clinician, the therapist, the coach, so they get to see the numbers and they have suggestions of interpretation aimed at them. Then on the second page, we see it's just some words and some very simple pictures that show the person how well they did and help interpret the data for them, and also suggest to them, hey, maybe you should consider this type of therapy solution if you had a poor reaction. It's really, really cool. I'm excited because the clinician gets immediate use out of it because they understand the results, and the client gets immediate use of it. They understand what occurred and encourages them to come back and continue and seek further treatment if that's a suggestible case. In terms of other types of sessions, we offer some relaxation sessions that are also automated in the software. And so one of the relaxation exercises is paced breathing, so the client gets to follow the computer as they're following a breath pacer. And the breath pacer will progressively have them slow down their breathing so that they feel that nice, slower, relaxed pace. It's not to say this is necessarily easy because it's hard for people to learn to relax, but the computer is automated doing all the work and they just have to be able to follow that breath pacer. It's also really cool if you're a new clinician just getting started in self-regulation and teaching someone how to slow down the breathing, because the software does the work for you. You just have to follow its instructions as it does that along. Another relaxation exercise is that we have a guided relaxation induction. So that's to say that there's a nice relaxing voice that's instructing the person to go through progressive muscle relaxation all the way from their head down to their toes, and they're learning to calm themselves and really create this imagery that helps achieve that soothing relaxation, that decreased arousal, increased finger temperature, and nice elevated heart rate variability with some good slow breathing. So again, it's not necessarily an easy exercise, but it's all automated in the system, and so it's going to guide the client through that relaxation process, and it's good for clinicians who are new to this and perhaps not really good at doing that induction or guided relaxation themselves. In terms of direct self-regulation, learn and control the software, we provide a variety of training sessions that are divided by measurements. And so you can learn to control your arousal, so how much you sweat from moment to moment. You can learn to control your finger temperature, your heart variability and breathing. We do them at the same time because they're very, very related. And then you also get some learning control, some advanced feedback games offered by Zuko Interactive. And so the sessions look slightly different in a variety of ways, but we show the appropriate information that clinicians want to use. So that's to say that it's all clinically oriented. We're only giving you what's necessary, and we're giving you training screens based on what tasks are typically most used and most successful with clients. So an example, you can choose the arousal sessions. We have a few displays on how you can train to decrease arousal. Same thing for increasing finger temperature. And then we have a few sessions for increasing heart variability and doing some good relaxed breathing. We'll have a look at these just in a moment. Ultimately, one of the big advantages of this DeStress solution is, again, the developer tool. So it lets you modify and create every aspect of the software. We give it to you already predefined, prearranged, exactly how someone might want to use it. But again, there's clinicians who want to do something new. They have a really awesome idea they want to implement. There's researchers who want to be able to research and create fixed protocols according to their own different paradigm. And so we give that access to you. You get to change any sort of monitor display. You can change any sort of feedback screen or contents of the screens. You can create your own sort of research protocols. It's all predefined in there, and you get to decide how you want to change that. And you can even create your whole big training schemes. We have clinics who use this software already, and they've changed it so you won't even recognize it at this point. But they've customized it, added in their own labels, identifiers, their own ways of talking about these measurements, and it follows their training paradigm that they see best, and they've modified every aspect of the program to do that. There's honestly just too many possibilities to mention, but just know that if you want to change it, you pretty much can, and we can show you how to do that with these tools. All right, so let's have a look directly at the DeStress solution instead of just looking at this presentation PowerPoint, so you get an idea of how data looks and how navigating through software can be. So I just put on my own little TPS sensor onto my finger. It just sits there nicely. I don't have to worry about my hand too much. I obviously don't want to shake it around, but I can just lay it down at the side of my hand. Essentially, what the TPS sensor looks like right now for me is that it's on my finger, just like in this little video I'm playing right here, and I can just sit down and relax. We're not using the application. The application is actually the original app you still get access to if you own the sensor, but we're going to be using it with a more advanced software in the DeStress solution. So I've already opened the BioGraph program, and here is the main menu. For those of you who are not familiar with this, I'm going to go a little bit slow, and that's okay. Many of the users out there already are familiar with this program because you already use other hardware that we've manufactured that run with this. For the DeStress solution, it's very simple for launching a session. I'm just going to go to the Quick Start button, and I'm going to select my name from the left-hand list. I've turned on confidentiality mode, so I'm hiding the names of the other clients to make sure there's no eyes looking over my shoulders that might want to see who's there. And then from the right-hand list, I have the available sessions with the DeStress solution. Currently, I'm showing all the one monitor versions of things, but you can choose two monitor in case you have that set up. For our example today, we're going to stick to one monitor. We can see right here from the list, there's the 5-activity stress test. We also have the learn and control sessions, so how we teach self-regulation at our own speed with different screens or visuals. And then we have the relaxation exercises where it's all pre-programmed to guide the person through an induction, so relaxing, listening to a voice telling you how to relax, or through that paced breathing by following a breath pacer. Let's actually get going with this 5-activity stress test. We're not actually going to run the full stress test. I'm just going to initially show you me launching it, and then I already have a session saved for you guys, and it's much easier to do that way. We're not going to wait the full 10 minutes. All right, so I'm going to hit the play button right here to start the stress test. Now, it's a fixed protocol, so the software already knows what it wants to do. We've embedded instructions in here letting you, the clinician, know what's going to occur, and then reminders each step of the way so that whenever there's a new activity, you have the instructions for that appropriate activity. Right now, I'm just going to start the baseline instructions, and so we're going to be able to see this data recording. Right now, we can see there's a bunch of line graphs listed right here with the different values and metrics. At the top, we have that arousal, or skin conductance, or also known as galvanic skin response. And so as this goes up and down, it's a metric of autonomic nervous system. As it goes up, it means I'm more stressed, I'm sweating a little bit more. As it goes down, it means I'm a little bit stressed, sweating a little bit less. Below that in blue, we have the finger temperature. And so as you get more stressed, temperature tends to go down. As you get more relaxed, temperature tends to go up. This is an effect related to how much blood flow is getting to the outer ends of your body and how much is being shunted away back to the main body during a stress response. In the middle, we can see right here the waves of blood moving through my finger. So that would be the blood volume pulse. It's from this metric that we actually collect the heart rate and heart rate variability data that's shown further on the bottom. Now, I'm not going to stay here for very long. It's just me letting you know this is how the general screen looks like when we're recording data. Let me jump over to a session I've already saved so you can briefly get an idea of what that looks like. So I'm going to jump over to the database, and this is where we save the data. And I'm going to choose my name again, and let me choose a session I recorded earlier. This one. I was actually quite stressed, so we'll be able to see those values in a second. So I'm going to choose the replay. This one's going to open it up as if it's real. Let's, for example, jump to the colored word test. And so this is one of the first stress activities experienced in this evaluation. And essentially, it's very simple. I'm going to be shown some colored words, words that both state a color and that are written in a different color. And I'm supposed to say the color of the word and not what word is being read to me. There's instructions right here on screen that explain it. And so if you don't remember that on your own, it's perfectly fine. The software is guiding you all along the way. So here's a quick example. We see different colors. So there's the word blue with orange lettering and the word red and green lettering. And this will be changing quickly because the idea is that we're supposed to state the color of the word and not state the word itself. And as it speeds up, it gets harder and harder to do. I'm kind of good at it, so why don't we just say an example that the current answer would be red, green, orange, blue, yellow. But this itself is a stressful activity. Once this test is done, after 2 minutes, it will jump straight to the review mode. It would jump straight to the first rest, where we see if the individual is able to self-soothe or calm themselves. And so we record data here. All the statistics in the system are being gathered, and we're hiding it from you right now. But when we get to the Excel report, you'll be able to see all of that information and make sense of it. The software, like I said before, it's all automated. It knows what it wants to do. It's giving you instructions, reminding you what to do. For example, in this case, rest, sit back, relax, and breathe normally. And when it gets to the appropriate timing, it will switch to a different activity and give us the appropriate instructions for that activity. The next activity after that rest would be a choice of whether you want to do a simple math test or a stressful event recall. They're both good types of stressors. Some is more personalized, like the stressful event. Others are more general, just math. And different people respond in different ways, but you get to choose what you think is best. And either way, the person will definitely get stressed from either of these choices. Again, this is just showing data I pre-recorded, and we're seeing the results right now. I think what people really want to see, though, is the Excel report with that self-interpretation. So how about I go and generate that right now? So I'm going to close out of that replay mode, and then I'm going to go back to the database where data is saved. I'm going to reselect that session, and I'm going to generate that Excel report. So it's processing the statistics. If we wanted to, we could review the data here, which I'm not going to do right now. I'm going to jump straight to the Generate Excel Report feature. Now, sometimes people do want to process the information here. There's a little bit of artifact cleaning that might be required, and if you're a researcher, you're definitely probably interested in looking at nitty-gritty details. I leave that up to you. I'm just letting you know that you have that option. It is available, and a lot of clinicians already use it, but for the time of our presentation, we're not going to focus too much on that. So right here is the report from the stress test. It comes in 2 pages. The first page is meant for the clinician, as we can see the label at the top. It has the name of the client, time and date, and then it has the results along with interpretations. So we can see the first graph, it says arousal. We can see the different arousal values in these bars. And below we can see the basic interpretation, which is following the stress activities, the arousal response remained elevated during recoveries compared to baseline level. This lack of recovery suggests remaining in an increased stress state that may benefit from self-regulation training for relaxation. So there you go. It's a very simple interpretation of the data. So if you're new to this, that's an excellent way of beginning with understanding the data. There are definitely clinicians who've been in this field for many, many years. They might have a much more complicated interpretation, and that's fine. They can apply that. But this is really meant for those newbies out there just getting started who need some assistance. We can see further data that talks about the other measurements. So there's temperature in terms of these blue bar graphs with simple interpretation as well. The interpretation are not entered by you. The software does it automatically. It automatically looks at the trends and it chooses the correct interpretation for you. So there's no extra work on your end. As we go further down, we see there's heart rate data as well as heart rate variability information. We see further interpretations on that. And if we move to the second page, you're going to be able to see the stress test report meant for the client. We can see it says client here at the top. And then it goes into a general description of why measuring stress, evaluating stress is useful, and then how they did in terms of results. We really chose to simplify the results here because they don't need to know numbers. That's too confusing. That's in itself a little bit stressful. And so they get a simple graphic that illustrates whether they did well or whether they did not so well. If this arrow is pointing more on the left-hand side, where it's red or orange, that's less good. If the arrow is pointing on the right side, where it's more green, then they did well. An example of our arousal, where stress makes us sweat more, the interpretation for the client is, your arousal response showed increasing stress levels as the evaluation progressed. This means you had difficulty relaxing after stressful tasks were complete. If this describes you often how you react to stress, self-regulation training to decrease arousal following stress activities could be beneficial for you. So very simple interpretation. I actually did quite well in terms of finger temperature. Your fingers remained comfortably warm throughout the stress test. This suggests a good recovery from stress. So that's a nice remark. And then I did so-so in terms of heart rate variability. So this Excel report can be saved, it can be printed, and so you can give a copy directly to your client straight away. It's a really good way of getting started with these interpretations and getting them really interested in coming back to you for further treatment and engagement. Like with all of the software, you can change this Excel report as well. If you want to add in your clinic's logo or other identifying information, you can. If you want to add in extra info that's not specifically listed here, go right ahead. You're open to do that because the DeStress solution gives you all that power and capabilities. All right, so how about we look at some other types of sessions, so some of that self-regulation, or how we call it, learning control. If we're back in the main menu for the BioGraph software, let's go back to Quick Start to initiate a different sort of session. Make sure my name is selected on the left, and from the right, I'm going to go for maybe some simple learning control with arousal. So we're going to see how we teach self-regulation or what possibilities there are. I'm going to hit OK, and the software is going to load up. Now, the learning control sessions offer quite a different range of types of feedback depending on what you want. You'll notice right now at the top of the screen there's numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, we have 4 different ways we could train arousal. We've included suggestions exactly how to do that. So on this particular screen, it suggests arousal levels change based on different thoughts and different relaxation strategies. And you can try those different strategies right now. Maybe you're not sure exactly how to go about training or teaching control, and you need a little bit more hints on how to use this particular software screen. That's fine. We've embedded it also here. If you go to the screens menu, you can always go to screen information, and it's going to bring up a PDF that describes exactly what the screen's for and how to use it. And so use the screen to explore which thoughts and relaxation strategies cause the subject's arousal to rise and fall. It's as simple as that. And so we have this for every different self-regulation screen, and you can always bring up that PDF to better understand what's going on. I'm just going to hit the play button right now so we get to see what it looks like. So as a quick example right here, this is my arousal levels or my sweat levels from moment to moment. When it goes up, it means I'm getting more stressed. When it goes down, I'm getting more relaxed. I'm evidently presenting right now, so I think my stress is going to go up. We see some simple color changes, pink as it's going up, blue as it's going down. There's also some tones being heard, but I'm hearing them through my headset. I want you guys to be able to concentrate on my voice right now and not worry about that. If I were to click on number 2, I can jump over to one of the other display screens that offer a different style of feedback, a different style of gamey type sessions. In here, it's all about, you get to see whether arousal is going up and down. When it's going down, we activate the feedback animation. The idea is that you want the animation to run. So just a different way of providing feedback. There's also music playing. You can change these animations. We give you a few different ones to play with. You can also add your own in. Really, the possibilities are all out there. If we jump over to screen number 3, we'll see it's black. Why is it black right now? Well, I actually didn't load the video I wanted to be streaming from online. So let's stop the session briefly and let's do that. So here's a streaming instrument. I'm just going to go to select a video. I already have a bunch of videos I told the system that I want to be able to look at. So how about this Pixar short? For all of you who don't know, Pixar uploads a lot of their short movies to YouTube, and Pixar has made a lot of amazing movies that you and your children definitely know. So let's play one of those videos. So what it's going to do is that it's going to link up to that video on YouTube, and we're going to be able to see some feedback in real time. Here's a quick example where the video is playing as I get more relaxed. So as my arousal goes down, the window's going to grow. And once I get more stressed, and the value goes up, the window's going to start going away. The video keeps playing, the sound keeps playing. It's really, really cool. Whatever you can find on the internet and on YouTube, you can use here as feedback. Well, unless it's blocked. Some content is blocked because of commercials and stuff like that. But it's at your fingertips, and you decide exactly what you want to feed into the system. Now, we've been focusing on arousal mostly, but you can train multiple modalities at the same time. Here's one of our game-like displays where we're looking at a lot of info simultaneously, and then you get to provide feedback in different elements. This is a little too complicated for someone who's only learning self-regulation for the first time, so you wouldn't use it immediately. But if you want to be able to look at the data from heart rate variability as well as arousal and temperature at the same time, this is the display for you. We give feedback in different ways based on different metrics, and some of it's simple and some is more complex. And as always, if you don't understand what's going on and need some help, you can always go to screen information and you bring up an explanation of what's occurring in this display screen. Let's have a look at one of the other self-control sessions. So let's check out heart rate variability and breathing. As you may have noticed, I've been talking a lot about arousal, temperature, and heart rate variability. I haven't quite mentioned breathing very much and how we measure that and how we provide that fourth measurement. So it's a really cool way that we implement that with this sensor. Right here in this first screen, we get to look at both breathing and heart rate synchrony and see how when we breathe in and breathe out, how it lines up with the increase in heart rate and decrease in heart rate that represents that variability. Again, as always, if we're not sure how to use the screen, we can go to screen info and we can see that it's going to describe that, the way we actually measure breathing is that you have to place the sensor on your body in a certain position, just below the rib cage on the top of the stomach. And so I'm going to do that right now with my sensor. Now, the TPS sensor, if you didn't know, has an accelerometer in it, so it feels movement. And so what it's going to be doing, it feels the inhales and exhales. And so it knows exactly when you breathe in and breathe out, and that's how we're extrapolating this data. So it's an indirect measurement, but it's actually pretty accurate when the sensor is put in the correct location. Let me just take a moment to practice this, where I'm not going to be talking. So we can see that blue line going up and going down every time I inhale and exhale. I'm a little bit stressed. I'm having a hard time doing some slow breathing, but I think you'll forgive me. Now I'm going to take my finger off of that position, and we're going to look at some of the other screens as they measure data of heart rate variability. A lot of HRV training involves looking at some complex numbers, and we created the software to make this as simple as possible. We don't want you, the therapist, the clinician, the coach, having to spend a lot of work setting screen settings and things like that. Like with arousal, finger temperature, and here, we do a lot of presetting, and so the threshold's already set to some good values, and we've already decided what is good or bad feedback and what we want to encourage and discourage. In this screen as an example, we can see that there's 3 bars. And the whole goal here is that we just want this green bar to go up and hit 80 or above. And to do that, all you have to do is do some good slow breathing. As the person does that, this value will slowly go up and it'll get closer to that threshold and they'll get some good feedback. On this screen, there's music that plays when they hit that threshold. There's also this animation that plays. We've included a breath pacer, so if they want to follow this pacer by inhaling when the circle goes up and exhaling when the circle goes down, it really helps guide them to that slow, relaxed breathing that'll increase heart rate variability and make this value go up. I might have a little bit of a hard time doing it right now during this recording, but just getting a general idea of how this works. One of my favorite things about this particular learning control session is right here, the HRV power game. And so it's very, very simple. We don't even see thresholds here. We're not even sure what to do, but as always, if you want some additional information, you just go to screens, screen info, and it's going to bring up this PDF that tells us exactly what happens. So here, when the LF percentage, that bar graph hits 50, the first star fills in and some quiet music starts playing. When we hit 60, second star fills in, 70, a third star, and 80, the heart fills in, and then some new music starts going on. There's even a hidden condition if you hit 90. This whole time, whenever we hit the first 50 point, we'll start increasing our score. And so the whole idea is that you want someone to do good, slow, relaxed breathing in order to see how much points they can get in 2, 3, or 4 minutes. Here, I'm going to take a moment to do some slow, relaxed breathing, and let's see how high I can get this to go. Oh, there you go. I had a pretty good time doing that. I was breathing nice and slow. I got the value above 90. All the stars, the hearts appeared. I'm scoring extremely quickly, and I'm hearing some really awesome active music. So there you go. I was able to do that. It's almost like I've had practice with self-regulation and learning control before. All right, so how about we're going to close down this session here, and let's head on over to the PowerPoint to discuss some more things. We can also see how I'm no longer doing my slow, relaxed breathing, so those values coming down, and I'm losing my nice, good stars and heart, and it's going back to gray. Oh, that's too bad. So what do you actually need to own in order to take advantage of the DeStress solution? Well, in terms of requirements, you need to have a computer that uses the Windows operating system. It could be Windows 7, 8, 10, anything from the last 6, 7 years is perfectly A-OK. The reason for that is that the DeStress Solutions software platform, BioGraph, works on Windows computers. If you have an Apple computer, you can use the dual boot or the boot camp system to turn it on in Windows PC mode, and then the software will work in there. We don't suggest getting parallel. You have to pay extra money for that, and it just doesn't work as well. Your computer also evidently needs to be Bluetooth enabled. Since the TPS sensor is wireless and uses a Bluetooth connection, that's how it's going to connect with the computer. If you have a desktop that doesn't inherently have Bluetooth, you can always go to a store and buy a little Bluetooth dongle, and it gives your computer that ability to use that function. So it's very, very easy. Most computers these days have the Bluetooth function, but if they don't, you can give it that. For those users who are already familiar with our products and our softwares, this DeStress solution uses the BioGraph software, and you need to have BioGraph version 6.6. If you don't already have any of our previous software products, don't worry, we'll give you BioGraph with the correct version to use the DeStress solution. Now, one of the big things people always ask is cost, and I'm going to talk about that right now. Just so you know, the reference point I'm discussing is the cost in US and Canada. The prices do vary in different regions of the world, and it's very much a fact because this is a medically licensed product. It's subject to import costs, custom fees, and service depending on the local representatives. So know that what I'm talking about right now are the prices in American dollars in US and Canada. For other regions of the world, the prices may vary for those particular reasons. So the cost of the DeStress Solution as a medically validated product, it's FDA regulated, Health Canada, we have approval in Europe, Japan, South Korea, Australia, there's a lot of countries in there. It costs $1,350 USD. This is actually a really good price point for this type of solution, especially as a medical product, because it's much lower cost than the other products we've originally sold, and it gives you a ton of power and capabilities as an all-in-one solution. How does the price breaks down? Well, for those of you who already own the TPS finger sensor and have been using the free app that works with it on tablets and smartphones, you already know the price of that sensor is $395, and that's perfectly good. We're not going to change that price, and you can already use that sensor with this more powerful software solution. The computer software that gets purchased with it costs $955 USD, and so that's how the breakdown occurs. If you already own the TPS finger sensor and are interested in the full DeStress solution, all you have to do is pay for the other half of the price in order to get the full package. For users who already own our previous hardware of ours and have a version of BioGraph, you still have to pay the full price because you need to buy the sensor as well as get the license for using that sensor on BioGraph itself. Now, this is an incredibly good cost to value price point. And we're going to see in a second how this is amazingly low compared to equivalent offerings that are in the field right now. As always, let me remind you that the prices I've said right here, it's in US and Canada. Prices vary from countries due to custom fees, medical importation costs, and service there. So as a comparison, what Thought Technology used to offer, they would do the same equivalent things as the DeStress Solution, typically cost at least $2,600 US. And again, that's prices for the Canadian and American markets. Compared to what we're offering right now, we're offering something in a much smaller, sleek, better sensor, no wires, no cables, easily works with the computer at virtually half of the cost. So $1,350 USD. That's amazing. And look on the market for any other product does the same thing as a DeStress Solution, and you are not going to find it at this price point and at this convenience and such a small size and easy function and use. So something I do want to identify and say back that this DeStress Solution is really a full solution for individuals getting started in terms of wanting to look at markers of stress, stress management, relaxation skills, enhancing resilience via self-regulation, and in performance enhancement with recovery. It gives you the full tools where you can have a client come into your clinic or practice. You can do the stress test online and provide a report in real time the first time they visit as part of your other solutions. Since the stress test only takes 10 minutes to record, maybe an additional 5 minutes to explain, it's 15 to 20 minutes max, easily done. From there, you can either encourage the client to come back where you do the self-regulation or those relaxation sessions with them on the computer, and you guide them, learn how to do better breathing, how to increase heart variability, how to de-stress, and really encourage that resilience. Or you can alternatively just send them home and using the TPS sensor already with the free app, you can have them practice that self-regulation skills and how to de-stress themselves. Even better still, if you could do both, because why not? One's when they come into the clinic, and so if they're only going to be there for 1 to 5 sessions, you get that good concentrated work where you're seeing them in real time and talking about their situation, and then you encourage them to practice what they learned at home, and they can use that giving feedback on the tablet. Of course, this requires for you to lend them the TPS sensor, but that's okay. You can loan it to them at a small fee. You can also own several TPS sensors or even have them buy it off of you. So there's a lot of possibilities, and what we're giving you is this full solution where the DeStress Solution is an evaluation with interpretation in the office and a way to have them come back to the office for further treatment. Or you can use the sensor on its own with the free eVSens app and have them do some of that self-regulation at home. It's really, really good, and it's a full method. It's absolutely excellent for people who want to get new into this, and for those of you who have already been doing this for a while, it's just a new way of looking at data where it's cleaner, easier to work with, and much, honestly, sexier hardware. Now, if you have any questions about this product, feel free to reach out to Thought Technology or any of our representatives in your region of the world. We're happy to answer these questions. We're happy to look over possibilities, and if any of you want to use a tool like this but slightly different functions, well, like I said, DeStress Solution gives you developer tools. You can change the software any way you want. You can provide different sort of protocols, research for training. You can customize it to your practice, so it's really following how you want to train in your paradigm. There's all the possibilities there. All you have to do is reach out to us, and we'll be happy to start discussing things like that. Before I let you all go, I just want to talk about a little bit of what's coming in the near future. From the time of this presentation, we already know what's going to be happening in the next few months, and I just want to let you know about that to keep your eyes and ears open. So in the coming few months, we are releasing a peak performance application. This works on smartphones. It will be using the TPS sensor as well. We've been doing some great work with our sports performance partners over in Europe, and we're taking their automated interpretive system and we're putting it into a smartphone app. And so ideally with athletes and high performers, they could be evaluating and doing several different sort of self-regulation sessions on their own, and you at a distance can be monitoring their progress and seeing how well they do. So this is definitely an exciting thing, and look forward to hearing more information about it in the coming future. On another end, we're also developing a group training solution. So the DeStress solution itself is using a single TPS sensor and getting feedback on that. We're going to be releasing a solution that lets you use up to 4 of those sensors, and so you can have 4 different individuals on this more advanced computer software all at the same time. So if you're a researcher who wants to be evaluating psychophysiology and autonomic nervous functioning from 4 people at the same time, you can do that. If you're a trainer who wants to use it on a sports team, you want all the athletes plugged in together, you can do that. If you're a couples counselor and want to use this on a couple just to see what sort of inner workings are going on inside of them as you do typical therapeutic sessions with them, you can do that as well. There's a lot of possibilities. I'm excited to show you and talk more about this group training solution, and I hope you are going to be interested as I am in it. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for paying attention to this presentation. I know it's a bit long, but there's so much good things to cover. And like I said before, if you have questions for Thought Technology or particularly me on this presentation, you can always reach out to me. My email's here, and you can always give us a call. If, however, you have a distributor or representative in your region, feel free to contact them, and they'll be able to get you that useful information as well. Thank you very much, and have a good day.